All right, let's talk about something you've almost certainly used today, maybe even in the last 5 minutes, without even realizing it. We're talking about AWS, or Amazon Web Services. It's kind of the invisible backbone of, well, pretty much the entire internet. So what exactly is this thing? And how in the world did it get so huge? Let's dive in.
Okay, so right off the bat, AWS themselves call it the world's most comprehensive and broadly adopted cloud. Now, that's a pretty bold claim, right? But it's not just some marketing fluff. It's really the core idea that helps us unpack what they're all about. It points to both the incredible scale and the mind-boggling variety of what they offer.
So that phrase, the world's biggest cloud, what does that actually mean in practice? We hear the term cloud all the time. But why do companies from the NBA to Netflix all rely on this specific one? Let's get into what's really going on behind that title.
At its heart, it's actually pretty simple. Imagine you're a company. Instead of going out and buying tons of expensive servers and building your own data centers, which is a massive headache, by the way, you just rent exactly what you need from AWS. This flexibility is the game changer. It lets companies build, scale, and innovate at a pace that was just unimaginable a decade ago.
So why do so many companies choose AWS? It's not just about being the biggest player in the game. It really comes down to a few core ideas or pillars that they've built their entire service on.
Think of these as the 4 big promises. First, they're always innovating, constantly rolling out new services. Second, and this one's huge, security is their top priority. Third, you get ultimate flexibility with the biggest digital toolbox out there. And finally, it's all driven by a relentless focus on what their customers actually need. These pillars all work together.
Let's just pause on that security pillar for a moment, because this is the absolute deal breaker. AWS has built its entire reputation on being a digital fortress. This is why organizations that handle our most sensitive information, we're talking governments, banks, hospitals, trust them with their critical operations. So we know the why, but let's get a little more specific. Who is actually using this stuff, and what are they building with it? The answer is, well, it's pretty much everyone, building pretty much everything you can think of.
The range of what's being built here is just staggering. It powers the financial services that run your mobile banking app and the life sciences research that's helping to accelerate new discoveries. It's the engine behind so many of the new AI tools we're all starting to use, and it enables really cutting-edge stuff like serverless computing, where developers can build apps without ever thinking about the servers underneath.
So how does this all actually work under the hood?
The best way to think of AWS isn't as a single product. It's more like a giant box of digital Lego bricks. Developers can reach into this box, pick from hundreds of these different bricks, and snap them together to build almost anything.
And this table gives you just a tiny peek into that Lego box. Need some computing power? You grab an EC2 brick, which is basically a virtual server. Need to store a bunch of files? You use S3. Building something with AI? You can use a tool like Amazon Q. Companies just pick and choose these services to build their applications from the ground up.
Let's just double-click on one of those for a second to really get it. EC2, which stands for Elastic Compute Cloud, is one of the most fundamental services. It essentially lets anyone, from a student in a dorm room to a massive corporation, rent computing power by the hour or even by the second, all without ever having to buy or maintain a single piece of physical hardware. Okay, so we've covered the what, the why, and the how. But now, let's talk about the where. The word cloud sounds so abstract and light, doesn't it? But the reality is that it's built on a massive, very physical global infrastructure.
Around the world, AWS is organized into 38 distinct geographic regions. Think of a region as a major hub on the map, like Northern Virginia in the US or Frankfurt in Germany, where they have these huge clusters of data centers.
And then, within those 38 regions, there are 120 of what they call availability zones. And AZ, for short, is basically an independent data center, or a group of them, totally isolated from the others. By spreading services across multiple AZs in one region, companies can make sure their apps stay online even if one entire data center has a problem. This is the secret to the cloud's incredible reliability.
So that incredible physical footprint is what makes the whole digital cloud a reality. And it's not standing still, it's constantly expanding. AWS is always building to meet demand, with new regions planned all over the globe. So the next time you stream a movie, order a package, or just use an app on your phone, you have a much better idea of the immense global machine working behind the scenes. And it really leaves us with a final thought to chew on.
As our reliance on this digital foundation grows and grows, how is it going to continue to shape our world?